talk a little bit about how to help you handle disruptive behavior if that happens while kids or students are in your care. Inevitably, sometimes when working with children and students, they don't always follow the rules or they make a bad choice. So we just want to equip you with some tools and resources that are going to help you handle those situations when they come your way. So first, it's important for us to talk about what are the rules? What do we expect of kids? Expectations are really important to communicate. So here at Southside, we try to make sure that all of our kids, our preschool and our elementary age students, know and understand that there's a Southside Kids Code. The code is really simple. It says this: I will show respect to God, others, and property by what I say and do. So we invite kids to learn that early on when they're in our environments, and we try to revisit that periodically throughout the seasons and throughout the years with them. Now, our middle and high school students, we don't necessarily directly teach them this, but we do hold them accountable because they're old enough to know and understand that when I'm at a ministry event, I should be respectful of myself, of God, of others, and the property by my actions and by my words. So let's talk for a minute about why kids don't always obey the rules or the code in the situation that they're in. One very simple reason may be that they don't know the rules. So we want to make sure, again, that we reiterate and explain that, hey, this is what we expect of you. And what we've learned is that the more we explain to kids what we expect of them and remind them of that, the more likely they are to meet those expectations and even rise above them and surprise us and wow us a lot of times. So let's make sure that we make sure kids know and understand what we expect of them. We expect them to be respectful. We expect them to show respect for property and to be respectful to others and their leaders while they're at church events, and hopefully outside of our property too. Also, another reason that kids or students may not follow the rules is that they don't understand how they directly apply to them. Sometimes helping a 4-year-old understand that not throwing my goldfish is a way to be respectful is time well spent. Or spending time with an 8th or a 9th grader showing them that while you're on your phone during the message, it can seem like you don't care or that you're being disrespectful to the pastor or the leader that's prepared something to share with you that day. So those are really important ways to help kids, is making sure that they understand how that rule actually applies to them. Another reason kids might break the rules or break the code is simply because they make a bad choice. Kids and students, they're growing and they're learning and they're navigating this big world, and at church it's no different. At ministry events, that's not different. That's there as well. And so sometimes, even though kids and students know the rules, they just simply make a bad choice. So it's our goal always, first and foremost, to pastor them through that, to love them through that, to lead them through that, and make sure they understand that, hey, you made a bad choice, but we can help you not do that again, and it doesn't make you a bad person. So it's important to love them through that. And then finally, there are sometimes, very few hopefully and prayerfully and in our experience, but there are kids and students who do know the rules, but they choose not to follow them because they don't care. And sometimes that situation can be especially difficult for leaders and volunteers. If you find yourself in a situation like that, it's important to get help from a staff member, from a pastor, or from one of the ministry directors in your area, or a volunteer leader, because sometimes we will have to talk to parents or invite students to take a break from that ministry area if there are repeated offenses and it's starting to become disruptive to others and or harmful in any way. There's a few helpful hints I wanted to share with you too that can just help you prevent disruptive behavior from ever happening in your area. One of those is to eliminate distractions. Kids, like adults, we're easily distracted, especially in the world today. So it's important to help kids win. If you know you're about to sit down to have a small group discussion, make sure that kids throw away their snack trash first. Make sure that middle and high schoolers put their devices or their phones in their pockets or turn them over, and make sure they put them on silent. Help remind them of those simple things that can help eliminate distractions. If you notice that 2 particular 4th graders are disruptive when they sit next to one another, help them win by asking them to choose a different seat. So helping students and kids eliminate distractions is a really great way to prevent disruptive behavior from ever happening. Also, we would invite you to help kids, provide them a choice. Let's say you've got a third grader and they don't understand why they can't kick the football right before it's time for worship. You might say to them, hey, look, if we've got time at the end, we can go out and play football. But first, let's go and worship with everyone else. So you're giving them a choice. Let's do this first, then we can do that. That helps kids a lot of times break down their desire to really want to do that activity right then, which is oftentimes why disruptive behavior happens. So providing choices for kids is another way to give them ownership and to let them feel and know that they're respected, and then they're less likely to be disruptive in your environment. And then finally, if you're ever in a situation where you're uncomfortable or where you feel like you need staff support or another adult leader, be sure to ask for it. We never want you to feel like you don't have the help that you need. So always take a moment to ask another volunteer or shoot a text to your staff or ministry leader and let them know that you're in need of their assistance. These are some great ways to help kids be on their best behavior while they're in our environments, but most importantly, just how to help them win here at church and in life.